I didn't even for a moment think that that wasn't going to work anymore. They've patched the old force field. The old force field is no more. They've patched it out. G'day guys, my name's Josh, you can call me JaWoodle, and welcome back to 7 Days. Welcome back to the new 2.0 update. Well, come and join me. I'm under a brolly. In fact, I need a cheeky frothy. Grab one of you. Come and join us for some suds in the sun back in JaWoodle Park. So if you're unaware, this is my base building and testing world where I build all sorts of contraptions to try and figure out how this game works. But I've come back because you guys have been asking a lot of questions about what still works, what doesn't work anymore, what's been updated, what's changed. So I've come back to try and answer at least one of those. Geez, the park really is starting to fill up as well. I really like that I have my little trailer over there in the shade of the tree that was just here when I got here, and I've claimed that as my own. But what I want to do today is have a look at Zombie Forcefield. It's something that we've had since Alpha 17. Originally, I discovered that the arrow slots, if you place them upside down, would stop the zombies from walking across them, but still made a nice solid path for you to walk, or more importantly, drive across. That's, unfortunately, has since been patched out. So there's a lot of different options for different force field-esque blocks that you could use that zombies can't. But I want to find the perfect one, the best one, the smoothest one to implement into all of our bases. Got myself a nice little area out here that I can build in. I'm going to assume I'm going to start from scratch. So if you know how force fields work already, or you know how they're built, then this first little bit won't be explicitly for you, but you can watch anyway. But if you have no idea what they are or how they work, I'm going to try and make sure I go through all the steps so that if you're coming in from scratch, you know what you're dealing with. So basically, at minimum, we want to go something like this. This is 5 blocks across, but you want to have a lip on either side and a 3-block gap across it. And this gap, from the level where like the edges are, you want to go three blocks down. Basically means that there's a deep enough channel underneath that in the zombies' minds, they just see this as a trench, not actually any sort of pathable terrain at all. So as long as it's 3 blocks down, and then you put some blocks across the top of it like that, they only see the hole, but it's got to be deep. So it should end up looking like this. Just a nice big trench all the way along. So, sorry, cactus. So 3 blocks deep, 3 blocks wide. There you go, 3 by 3, just like that, with like the force field blocks on the top. The reason you're going to go 3 blocks wide is because there is a jumping mechanic inside the Zombies Pathing. They will try and jump across 2-block wide gaps, so 3 by 3, nice and simple. And I suppose then, I mean, while I'm here, while I'm doing it, let's have a blast from the past. Let's see if the old school arrow slots have made a return. I doubt it, but we'll give it a go anyway. God, I miss them though. Look how smooth they are. Look how smooth and slick and perfect they used to be. They survived for so long too. So many updates they made it through until finally there was a specific patch just to remove their functionality. And I missed them. Ah well, here's what it is. We'll see how we go. Let's just get a couple of Arlenes in. Get your attention. Yeah. And straight across. Straight across. Once upon a time, you would have gone the long way around, but no longer. Oh well. Ah well, nothing good lasts forever. So with the arrow slots gone, the next best one that I've been using for a while now is a combination of 2 blocks actually, because it did give me the smoothest result that I could get. Because again, it's not about just making a force field that you can get across. If you wanted to do that, you could get anything. You could get like the regular side angle poles and chuck them down like that. If you had that like that, that's another block that, I mean, technically you can walk across, but the zombies can't because it's not in the center of the block space. But you can't ride your bike across that. I mean, not without talents, which is something that I definitely don't have. You can't drive across that. That's not a particularly usable solution. So I want to find something as smooth as possible. It basically acts like completely solid ground, but just isn't. I like how I said that I was going to try and explain this as if you've never seen a force before, and immediately devolved into my regular Woodle rantings. So it's the slope plate fillers and then these road blocks that are slightly on the piss. Because if you get them like that, that made a nice, smooth little surface. But I did notice something at the end of the 1.0 cycle that makes me think that these aren't going to work anymore. It's funny, you know, doing this again, going right back to my roots, building all sorts of things to try and deal with the zombies as best I can. I mean, I remember when I first came up with the force field. I remember when I first coined the term zombie force field way back when. I was trying to make a killing corridor that I could loot the loot bags from underneath. So obviously the arrow slots had the gap to get through, and we didn't have all the blocks that we have now. I feel like it was so long ago. So long ago, but also just the other day. Time has been flying. In fact, even even just running across this, there's a little bit of a bobble to it. I don't think it's as smooth as it once was. At the start of 1.0, this was golden. Yeah, there's definitely a little bobble when you go across the bigger of the gaps. I'll grab myself a vehicle anyway, just to see how it goes. I usually test with the motorcycle and just see how this is gonna play. Jump on you, right across. It's not so bad. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. Try again. Oh, it's a bit yuck. In fairness, I can't tell if it's the bobbling coming off the sand onto the concrete that's doing it, or... Oh, it's just not... It's not as good as I want it to be. Just to make double sure, and because I have the power to do so, I've just converted all that sand into nice, smooth concrete, so make sure we're getting some proper results from our tests. Nice and smooth, and a bit bobbly. I mean, it works. It works fine. I'll just make sure that the zombies still work fine. Get a couple of Arlenes in. Get you to come across the gap, please, if I turn on your brains. Oh, holy shit! I didn't even for a moment think that wasn't going to work anymore. They've patched the old force field. The old force field is no more. They've patched it out. Wow. Wow. I didn't even think to test it. I was testing vehicles. I was like, oh, yeah, this will work for sure. No whackers, knackers. Turns out, some whackers. That has absolutely blown my mind. And that's blown mine even more. So you guys are now acting the way they would expect you to. This is the way it was supposed to work, where they don't see crossing as an option, so they go around the long way. Since you're getting all stroppy and beating on stuff, but... Okay. So why do regular Arlenes not make it across? But if I get the ferals back again... What? What? How have I run the same test twice? I've got two different results. That's not how this is supposed to happen. Why are you going around now? What? I'm thinking maybe it might be something to do with like how close to the barrier I actually am, or how close the zombies are, because I'm having trouble getting it to happen again. It definitely happened once. If I wasn't filming, you wouldn't believe me, but that one time it did definitely happen. So the other one that's been getting used lately are these storage cubes. It was the full storage cubes placed upside down like that. So the way that like these force field blocks work, the way that the zombies can see which blocks they can pile, which ones they can't, is by whether there's a block taking up the area in the middle of the block space. So for example, like these poles here, because those poles are in the center of that block area, that is a path the zombies can walk across. Again, like I was talking about before, these side poles aren't. So if I get some zombies and I put you right there, not right there. For as long as I've been doing this, I still don't understand why sometimes they spawn directly on top of my head. But if I go like that, she should go all the way over to that center pole to get across. Even though this one looks exactly the same, that's a viable path, this one's not. So as long as there's space in the middle of that block area getting taken up, that's how they can see if they can path or not. So this one, because there's a nice juicy cavity right in the middle, this isn't a path for them either. Yeah, see, look at that. Look at that. Not even a bar of it. Not even a sniff of it. Just want to go back the other way. It's a nice solid block as well. It also looks nice to put down, kind of like the old arrow slots did. So I'm a bit of a fan of this one. We'll see how it goes with vehicles though. But so far, the pathing's all good. It does look nice, doesn't it? It looks really nice. Anything that has like that nice... Ooh. That nice symmetrical look to it, I'm always a fan of. It's a bit bobbly though. Still a bit bobblier. Still a bit bobblier than I would expect it to be. It's not bad though, is it? I mean, that's not a massive problem. That's definitely dealable. Probably not, it's about as bad as the road slots were, as the slow plate filler and the road dash on top. Oh god, could be even worse actually. There's some interesting. Jeez, interesting collisions there. The slower you go, the worse it is. What about like a 4x4 then? I say the 4x4 because it's notoriously bouncy. Jeez, look at the wheels having an absolute mare of a time going over it. It does not like it. Fortunately, the suspension can absorb it, so it wouldn't be too bad, but... Yeah, jeez. Okay, alright, well, let's get a couple of zombies in to just make sure nothing weird's happening with these ones. It still boggled my mind that the last ones didn't work properly. Nah, they're okay. That's okay. Okay, well, I reckon that might now be better than the slow plate filler version was. That's alright. That's okay. We know these things now. It's just the vehicles that concern me. I mean, there might even be something better. What about something like this? Like the vertical blinds bottom, it looks like bars. Ooh, security gates maybe? Like something like that. As long as like the central part of it isn't taken up, then it could work. And the more block, ooh. Imagine that like a really small version of it. That'd be sick. The more block is actually taken up, the smoother it's going to be to drive across. There's got to be like a super sweet option, right? Like a perfect option to do the job immaculately. At least I don't have to fill out the entire trench to figure out if they path across it or not. I can just build a nice little bridge like that. Get a couple of lanes in. Okay, so that one doesn't work. What were we doing? We were the security gates? Yeah, security gate. The wood looked good too. I thought I had a chance. Nah, see, there's a bit in the middle. Right in the middle. No good. What about like these ones then? The trellises? There's trellis square, there's trellis diamond. You've got a nice big gaping hole right in the middle of you. What if I grab the diamond as well? I'll chuck you over here and just see if either of those want to work with the zombies. Chuck you in. Okay, well you liked both of them. Damn it, I thought that one had potential. Maybe even something like this, like a letter. The W and the M's take up the most amount of physical space inside the block, but maybe there's... Oh, I don't like the way it looks though. I really don't like the way that looks, but we'll give it a go anyway. Because maybe there's something in the code. Because the way that the arrow slots used to work was it was just basically something that said, do not path over this. Some of the wedge tips actually, there was a piece of code that said this is not pathable that may be applied to letters as well. Get a couple of R lanes. Nope, straight across they come. Good, because that one was ugly. I didn't want that one to work anyway. I'm not seeing a whole lot of other options that have any sort of potential. There's a lot of these things, like big 1 meter circles, but that's a big hole in the middle of it. I'm trying to find the smoothest block possible. Getting a gigantic gaping hole in the middle of your pathway, probably not great for driving across. You guys are way too big as well. I'm at the top of the list again. I've gone through almost everything. I think these are the smallest holes that I could find. The counter wall mount round. There's nothing else that looks like it has a smaller hole in the middle, especially from the way that these projections are set up. So maybe there's a better one, but we'll see. Oh, what about drains? There's a drain. Is that going to count? I mean, surely it does. That looks pretty bloody solid. If that was a hole, this would be absolutely spiffing. That would be completely perfect. I'll test out the countertops first. Get a couple of R lanes in. Yeah, nah. And we were close. If they could just punch out those holes there, we'd be laughing. What about this? Now we're getting real cheeky with it now. This is a broken piece of footpath. I haven't driven across the countertops yet, but they did... the zombies didn't try and walk across it, which is a good sign. What about you, though? Because you've got a nice big gap right in the middle. But you might have the, like, can path. Yeah. The can path ultimate piece of code has been applied to you, so you're not going to work either. I just want to find something with a tiny hole in it. Why is this so difficult? I want to give these countertops a drive and see how they go. So I've been thoroughly distracted doing everything else. I haven't tested those ones properly yet. Nice and slow. Not too bad, actually. Not really too bad at all. Even like trying to aim for the dots themselves, it doesn't really... Oh, there's a bit of a bobble to it, but it's not that bad. Maybe I'll try something slower like the mini block or something to see how that one goes instead, but... I mean, that's perfectly usable. It's about the same as the storage cube was. We'll whack the big boy across to see if that does a little bit better. Jeez, the tires get... Oh, watch out, mini bike. The tires get all sorts of bobbly about it as well. It's really not pleased. It's like, it's not that bad, though. It just sinks all the way through. But at least you can drive straight out of it again anyway. So any sort of pace makes it way better. We'll check the mini bike as well. We're already here. Oh, that's pretty smooth. I don't know which one I prefer. I really like the look of these ones as well because it's got the nice little ridges on either side. Kind of like gives a bit more of a direction, I guess, but to go around like corners and things, because the way you normally use force fields is building like a moat around your base. Digging ditches is like base defense 101. So digging a ditch around your base and then filling it with a force field block means that you could just walk across it or drive across it, but the zombies can't. So if you want to go around a corner though, these little ridges are gonna be a thing. Whereas of course with the with these ones, I mean if you're gonna have that in the corner, imagine that's the corner then, it's all nice and symmetrical still. Symmetricality is always important. If they work about the same, I think I'd prefer the storage cubes over these ones. I really do. So just quickly then, one last double check going across. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. The storage cubes is good for the 4x4. Bloody terrible for the mini bike, which I suppose I should have seen coming. They've got the wheels the size of a 50-cent piece, barely any space at all, and a little bit bobbling on you too. We should compare that with the sink countertops. Nice and smooth on you. We'll just go to motorcycle next. Oh, that was incredibly smooth on that one. And smoother again for the mini bike. I was expecting that to be worse. So the mini bike seems to be the biggest issue with the storage cubes. It doesn't seem to bounce nearly. If you get it right too on those countertops, it's absolutely buttery smooth. But even nailing the holes, it's. I'm just doing circles now. At worst, it's the same. But if you do nail the line, it's even better. And I haven't had one big bobble like I did with the storage cubes. I've just been cutting laps back and forth with the mini bike, turbo on full speed all the way around to see if I get any sort of inclination of which one's better. And I reckon this countertop is just that little bit smoother than the storage cubes is. I'm getting less glitches, less errors, less getting thrown around, and that's trying my best to make it as bad as possible by really trying to like nail the holes on either side on the countertops compared to the storage cubes. Because then, like with the storage cubes as well, you have the chance of gliding across nice and smooth, which you don't get with the storage cubes. Like for this one, if I go right at the guts, right down where the solid pieces are, you don't get that bobble at all. If I could find a version of that block that doesn't have that ridge, it'd be even more perfect again. But it's pretty good. It's absolutely, look at that, it's absolutely buttery. So that's the counter wall mount round, but there is, oh. Okay, so we do, why couldn't I find you before? Where have you been lurking this whole time? Yeah, great galah. Right there. Right there. It's what I'm looking for. A tiny little hole right next to it. I'm going to chuck some of you in, which means there's no ridge. Okay. There's no ridge. If I don't get rid of you for now, I don't think I need you anymore, because there was also the plate version of this, which also looks pretty good for me. This one, because if I get you and I put you upside down, like that's across the top, although then there's a bump. It's basically the same as this, but up above a little bit. I don't know. I'll chuck you in. We'll see how we go. It might be the absolute perfect block. If that one doesn't work, we have to know. I have to know now, but this is much more potential. At least I can smooth it out quite a lot by getting these 8 meter ramps, 8 meter 01. That's going to give a nice little wedge, nice little smooth incline up onto you. In fact, I want to put you a little bit closer so you're nice and good on both sides. That doesn't look especially terrible, you know? I don't hate that being raised a little bit. It kind of like suits the aesthetic a little bit more for me. So it's got no ridges. This one's super smooth, but it doesn't have a pass-through. There's a block at the bottom. So potentially, I mean, look, if that's going to be buttery smooth like that one was without those ridges, and this one doesn't work, these plates could be the go. Oh, and look at that. Look at that. They path across it as well. As soon as I saw that they weren't completely empty, I thought that might have been the case. And more importantly, they don't go across these plates. So they don't use these ones, they don't use this one. So if you wanted to just like plug the gap, you could use those, that'd be fine. I think these ones are a complete bust, which is a shame because they were nice and smooth across the board. But this is alright, this is fine. So I don't think there's a better option in here. I really wish that was the case for this one, but so be it. But you, so the plate counter hole So it's the same as this one. It does still have those ridges underneath, but because it's nice and thin, you can place it a little bit up above, supported on both sides with the ramp, and that's the smoothest crossing I think I'm going to get. I'll try it with the mini bike again, so for comparison, that's still pretty good. Is this one going to be the same? Oh, it's... Holy shit, it's even better. It's even better because there's the 8-meter ramp on either side. You're getting that slight little bit of elevation to start with. So when you're coming across it, you're barely even touching the blocks. Oh, no way. That's the best of the lots. Now, I know you could apply that same... Oh, don't get stuck in the dish again. You could apply that same thing to, like, the storage crates. Never put the little ramps on either side. But I like the way that looks so much better. I think that's my favorite one. A little bit of extra effort, yeah, because you have to put the extra blocks on the side, but for the aesthetics of it, for the drivability of it, for the everything of it, I think that's... Oh! Sorry, mini bike. I think that's the winner. I mean, the 4x4 just gobbles up everything anyway. That's not surprising. I've made a bunch of passes, and it's just, even at slow speed, absolutely smooth. That's as smooth as well-whisked pancake batter. That is absolutely perfect. Where is my motorcycle? I'll give you a crack too. Straight across. I mean, I'm really trying to aim for the holes to see if it's really any worse at all, but it's not at all, is it? I'll quickly go back and test the first one just to see if I'm imagining things. It's still got that little arse bubble. It twerks a bit going across, but only sometimes, less on the plates than it did on the flats. So just because it doesn't have those ridges, I mean, they're both pretty good. They're both pretty good. It's hard to argue one way or the other. It's just a matter of preference. Do you want the spines, or do you want it to be a little bit raised up? It definitely twerks more on the flat ones though, because it doesn't have the ramp up, but even so, that's pretty good, man. That's better than the slope plates used to be. I'm very impressed with that. I'm so impressed with that. You're a little champion. So I think for now, those are your 3 best options. I mean, that's... What's that thing where like all like recurring dots or whatever it is? Like, there's some sort of thing that makes people uncomfortable while looking at that stuff. So maybe the storage cubes aren't great for people who suffer from that, but I can't imagine these are much better. I think I prefer these ones. If I was going to be doing this, I dig my whole trench rather than fill the entire thing with the storage cubes. I think I just make my bridge into my garage, kind of like a drawbridge, actually. That's a really good way to describe it. Use this as like a drawbridge at the entryway into your garage, but the rest of it's just a ditch and they won't use it anyway. I think this is my favorite. Probably because it's the newest. Can I fit through? Oh, I can fit through. I wonder if I can fit through this one as well. I assume I can, the same size hole. Can on that one, obviously clearly can't on this. So it's all kind of a matter of preference. Which one tickles your pickle more? Which one gathers your lather a little bit more than the other ones? Horses for courses, I guess. They all have their place. I think though, if you were doing like a full moat, in fact I'll build one in a second and kind of make sure it all works out the way I want it to. If you're building like a full ring moat, probably the storage cubes. For a vehicle access, I think the plates are good. What are you called again? I have to get this lodged into my brain. You are the plate counter hole. Nice, but it's upside down with the 8-meter 01 ramps at the sides. So the plate counter hole, or the... No, what were you? Storage cube, or the storage cube. Plate counter hole, storage cube. Okay, so now that we know what blocks do and don't work, or specifically what blocks will work for different things, this is how, in my mind, this is the best way to use force field blocks. Kind of like I was talking about where... Pretend this is your base here, this little island in the middle. If you dig a moat around your base, if you're living in a POI, like around the outskirts of that or whatever, a couple blocks deep, again, 3 blocks below where the force field block will be, so 4 blocks deep in total, you can really stop the zombies coming from any other direction than where you want them to be. But the key part of that, and something that I do see people miss a lot when they build these things that don't work the way they want them to, you do need to put in somewhere for the zombies to go to. If you just dig a massive channel around the whole thing and don't give the zombies somewhere to go to, they'll see no viable option and will just jump in the pit and try and undermine your base instead. They'll break down this because they can't get to anywhere else. So you have to put in some sort of viable path for them. You have to. If you don't, you're in some trouble. And yeah, I think for something like this, if you are digging a full moat around and you want to, or something like this in particular, where you do want to fill the entire moat, I think just for looks wise, I reckon the storage cubes are the way. Jeez, I don't even have that thing, or maybe I do. What's it called? I need to know what that thing is called now. Trypophobia. Trypophobia? Something. Trypophobia. Whatever that is. I don't think that I have it, but looking at this, that's making my eyes feel funny. I don't think I like, I don't think I like that at all, but that's what it's supposed to be like. It looks a little bit better with a lick of paint. It's just like giving it that contrast does make it seem a little bit better in my brain. But if I get a couple of Arlenes, put you out over them. So even though the shortest one will obviously be... What? After all that I tested, that didn't work? I mean, in fairness, the slope plates didn't work once as well. We'll try it again. What on God's green earth is happening? What happened that first time? I'm so confused. That's twice now there's been a glitch in the Matrix. I'm about to see a woman in a red dress and a black cat somewhere. What is happening? If someone could figure out why that happens sometimes, I'd love to know. Oh, it doesn't work anymore. Numpad 0 used to get all like the stats above their head, but that's not a thing anymore. No longer a thing. All right, cool bananas then. Never mind. So I can't tell what they're thinking anymore. They can't beat me. The fun pimpers can't beat me. So instead they take away my diagnostic tools. Yeah, nah, sick. So why does that happen sometimes, but not others? That first time they sprinted straight across, and that has rattled me. To be honest though, I mean, it's still mostly working for the most part. There's a couple of little like issues here and there, but I mean, when you're ever going to build something like this, you would be using the force field away from where you're directly standing around your base or something like that. So maybe that's caused some issues. I would still feel comfortable using something like this. The occasional glitch wouldn't be that much of a discouragement, but now that I know that that's not entirely perfect, maybe this one is. It's not nearly as bad looking as the storage cubes was, but it's definitely harking back to it a little bit. So the problem with this though, is with those like that weird moment where the zombies just running straight across it, I don't know what's caused that, so I can't repeat it anymore. It's working fine. I guess I'll just keep running it until like something weird happens, but if it never happens, if this doesn't have that issue, how would I ever know? How would I ever know whether it's broken or not? I definitely think, for me, I prefer this one over the storage cubes. Really the only downside is that you can't get the 8-meter wedges in like the corner piece, so there's a bit of a little notch there, but it's very, very slight, not really an issue at all, not going to break any pathfinding or anything. Plus, I mean, hey, added benefit, zombies do weird things. They might fall through the holes. If you know, you can chuck some grenades down there. You can shoot through there. You can't do that with the, you couldn't do that with the storage cubes. You couldn't fight if they do get into the pits. So, hey, look, see, added benefit. But really, my gut feeling is just telling me that I like this one better. And that's all really I have to go on. That's all I've got. This one just feels better to me. But hey, you know what? That's the beauty of an open world sandbox game that 7S and I used to be. That's the beauty of having the choice to do whatever you want. If you like this one, go with that one. If you like the storage cubes, go with that one. I think they're both perfectly viable, except for that weird glitch that happens. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm going to rule that one out as an outlier. We're not going to let that impact our results. Any of these, I think, are bangers. So there you go, though. That's going to do us. That's going to wrap it up for today. I think we've got some good results. I was hoping to find at least one good one. Instead, we found, effectively, 3 good ones. I really like these ones. I also like this one as like a... I mean, I kind of like that it has the rails there to kind of guide you into your garage a bit smoother, but this one, for me, is the clear winner. Clear bloody winner. Look at that. Nice, smooth pavement right at the guts. Enough width for your bike tires, whatever. Easy peasy. That one for me is my new favorite. But hey, you can do whatever you want to do, and that's what WASTELAND Park is for. We're going to have to leave this episode here and come back. I have another thing I want to test. I have another thing I've been getting requests for to go and have a squiz up, but that's going to have to wait for another episode because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you'd like to, make sure you hit the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on whatever. And if I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.